Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the March 20th board work session. At this point, I will hand it over to Dr. Kelleher.
Sounds great. Thank you, Vice President Iniguez. We're excited today. This is our annual operational directors presentation. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. This is our annual operational directors presentation. So we're excited. It's one of my favorite workshops that we have. Last year we had Brian, Jen, and Stephanie present, and this year we're adding Marlon, our director of technology, as well. So we're really excited about that. Each one of these incredible leaders has a team of people that implement their vision and create the very foundation for our students to thrive, whether it's clean and safe buildings, whether it's nutritious meals, safe passage to and from school, or the infrastructure for 21st century learning classrooms. So I'm really excited for the presentation today. And I think you guys are sitting in order of how it's going to go. Well done. That is good. I love it. So they'll have the slide deck pop up here in just a second. And Director of Maintenance and Operation, Brian Brocky, is going to kick us off for us. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here today and to kind of explain a little bit about what we do in operations. A lot of people exactly know what we do. We think we just turn lights on and mow grass, but we actually do a lot. So yeah, just thank you. Yeah, and happy Monday. So my name is Brian Brocky. I'm the Director of Maintenance and Operations here at Wenatchee School District. A little bit about myself. This picture is my wife, Jennifer, and my two sons, Caleb and Tyler. Caleb's my oldest in the white shirt, and Tyler's my youngest. Grew up in Spokane. Lived here most of my life. My wife has lived here pretty much her entire life. And both of my kids are fifth generation Wenatchee High School graduates. So which kind of blows me away because I moved around so much as a kid. So education, I graduated from Eastmont in 91, and then as you can see, as valedictorian at Blue Collar University. So worked a lot of blue collar jobs to get to where I'm at here today. Work history, like I said, I've worked a lot of blue collar jobs. Was a P&D driver for FedEx for some time. Absolutely loved that job, except for Christmas. Christmas kind of was a little hectic. And then I went to go work at Alcoa, and I was a pot room supervisor out there for pretty close to 3 years before the plant shut down. So I worked until basically it went idle permanently. And then I got hired on here at the Wenatchee School District as the Assistant Director of Maintenance and Operations. And the last 3 years, I've been the director.
Thanks, Brian. Where's this picture taken?
So this was over on Fox Island, over by Tacoma. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And at any point during this conversation, if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
All right, since you
Sure.
said for us immature people, what's pot room supervisor?
So basically, pot room supervisor is where the production happened out at Alcoa. So we were the ones that produced the aluminum. That was another very rewarding job, but it was very hot, as you can imagine. You know, to make aluminum is a very, very hot process. It was a very physical, strenuous job. I loved it. I'd probably still be there today if they never shut down. So it's kind of one of those places that I really enjoyed working at. The thing I missed the most of the people that I got to know out there. We developed a pretty good camaraderie. I mean, you work 12 hours a day with people, you get to know them pretty well. So maintenance and operations, who are we? We provide customer service to combine number of 19 school campuses and support buildings across the district. We also maintain poor undeveloped properties. Our crew does everything from repairs to creating new and inviting spaces inside and out of our buildings. We maintain the grounds on all of our facilities. We do our own snow removal. We have a fully functioning shipping and receiving department that work out up at our shop there up at the mine. And we pretty much deliver 99.9% of the goods that come into the school district. So our shipping and receiving department handles a lot. And our delivery driver also handles a lot too. So we have 2 office support staff that kind of takes care of everybody up there at M&O, and along with technology. We have 2 trades. Our trades is 2 carpenters, 2 painters. We have 2 HVAC, a plumber, locksmith, and trades occupational support. Our grounds department is we have a grounds foreman plus 5 groundmen that takes care of everything in the district. I will say I'll give those guys quite a bit of a plug here. When you look at the amount of coverage that our folks have to maintain for such a small staff, I think we can easily be put up against the likes of the PUD in the county, in the city. So our groundsmen take a lot of pride in that. And if you haven't, other than the dandelions we're dealing with now, if you haven't seen the way our grounds look, they're pretty amazing. Because of lack of the winter, we actually got a lot done. So we were able to get done way more things than I think we've ever had in the past. So pretty proud of the accomplishments that they were able to do these past few months. And like I said, we got a warehouse manager, delivery, then a warehouse assistant who kind of helps with deliveries and warehouse, and then custodial staff where we have 37 when we're fully staffed across the district. As I said, our custodial staff, they clean about 1.2 million square feet of usable space per day. Grounds department maintains 108 acres of grass area. We generally have to mow at least once a week. Sports fields, we have to mow twice a week. A lot of our sports areas, we also put in soccer fields, maintain tracks for elementary. And then we have the undeveloped properties that we have to maintain. And then our trade staff, they also maintain and make improvements on that 1.2 million square feet of usable buildings. Typical day at M&O. I stated this last year, and it's still fitting. There's no 2 days are ever the same. This is a benefit and a challenge to our department. We're in the business of customer service, but we're also in the business of solving problems. And that's kind of what we do is, top to bottom, that's what we do is we solve problems all day long. So, every day we just bring it. But we also have to go with the flow because you may have an agenda when you walk in during the day, but one phone call or one email completely changes that. So you have to be able to adjust on the fly. We just embrace the opportunities to solve new problems and issues every day. And not to brag, but from our office staff to warehouse and the teams in between, they do things the right way, and they're all committed to making the district a better place. And plus, they're all pretty awesome to work with. I'm super blessed and fortunate, and they truly are the best team around. I wouldn't trade anything for anybody. So this project is something that our guys just did. So this is a classroom that is at the transition program over at Valley Academy. And after having a conversation with Shane and figuring out what some of the needs were for her team and her group, she gave us kind of a vision and just said, hey, could you guys make this happen? And basically what we did is we took the cabinetry and part of those lockers and blew all that up and we changed the infrastructure on the inside of the utilities for power, plumbing, and then on the cutout on the far will be the left-hand side of the picture is for washer and dryer that we put in. That's actually a dryer vent that we put in the wall. And then this is the finished product. And it's something that our guys were super proud of because it involved literally every trade that we had. Obviously there's no grass to mow in there, but everybody else had a hand in it. From our office staff to warehouse. Shane's vision was to basically replicate something that they had over here at the transition house into this space so that their program could utilize it without having to transport back and forth. Fully kitchen, has a stove, microwave with a inside vent, washer, dishwasher, fridge, dryer, washer and dryer are behind the closed doors. They're on the far left. So.
Thank you, Brian. I'm glad you shared that. I just want to share with the board that you all know and understand that our transition students, they used the transition house so that they could learn everyday activities and duties, everything from making a bed to learning how to cook for themselves, things they can do to help sustain their own living, but also to help them in the workplace as well. So what this does is it allows us to essentially vacate the transitions house so we can be all in one space now that they have the space. One of the things that I heard in the house, and if you haven't been there, you'll see it for yourself, but what my grandma would have called a two-butt kitchen is what that kitchen is. And it's really hard for multiple students to negotiate that kitchen. And now they have this amazing, miraculous classroom space that allows them to do the work that they do. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Corey. Thanks for explaining that. I wasn't sure. And we try to do as much as we could with this project is to reuse and repurpose as many things as possible, just for the economic impact. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but if you look at the backsplash, that's actually the same tile that we used when we redid the locker rooms at Wenatchee High School last year. And we made the fridge cut out that big, knowing that eventually someday they're going to have to replace that fridge. It's also has the capabilities of hooking up for an ice maker for future needs. So. We tried to put some really forward thinking into what the needs were now, but also what would be down the road. And so you ask yourself, like, how does something like that happen? Well, we completely changed the culture and outlook of how we approach to do things in our department. I'm a firm believer that there's no bad teams, there's only bad leaders. And that also includes the proper planning of something like we just did. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not just you go in there and start demoing things and then trying to find things that could possibly work. We have a lot of meetings, may not meet with the team all together at once, but individually between the trades, we have meetings so that we're all on the same page. And I will say that our guys do an amazing job of handing the baton back and forth. So there's really no hiccups. The only stumbling block in that project that we had was we had to order a inline dryer vent that we couldn't find in town. So we had to order it and it took 4 days to get here. So, I believe in empowering our team members. That would give them ownership, just like this project. I'm not the expert, they are. So let's have a conversation and see how we can solve the problem. And with that said, their voices matter along with those decisions. And support their efforts, give them the tools that they need to do their jobs correctly. And then recognize their efforts, that they are seen and not overlooked. They are all a part of the department's vision, and they're not just a number. So, and then just appreciation, goes beyond performance metrics. It's about letting them know when we've accomplished something and we've passed all expectations. And I would ask you to reach out and ask Shane what she thought about that kitchen when she first laid eyes on it. So it's a project that we're all very proud of, and it's always thank you. Telling them thank you goes a long way for appreciation for everybody that's around us. We all have difficult jobs, and a thank you truly does go a long way. Our department goals, we continue to build on the work that we started. Road mapping the future. That's a phrase that I use quite a bit. Corey's heard me say that. Sean's heard me say that. That's something that I'm a firm believer in. So for our facility needs down the road and replacement plans and forecasting department needs and/or staff and equipment, again, we have to give our folks the right tools to do their job correctly. Our goal is to make the district a better place, a safer space, and improve the overall function and appearance of it. We will also act upon our goals by continuously working to improve the culture of our department. And that is something that we've really changed in the past few years, is the culture and how we approach everything that we do. This is kind of a glimpse shot of the whiteboard in my office. Corey, you've seen this. These are either current projects that we currently have going on, and you see several of them are checked off. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's how I kind of help keep myself in check, and then check-ins that I can have with the individual groups that we have going on. So this isn't everything. This is just kind of what we have current. Our department goals is, I truly start each meeting by telling them that I remind each one of them each and every day that they positively impact somebody within the district by doing what they do. They really are difference makers with the knowledge and expertise that they bring to the table, and that is across the board. I'm very fortunate and blessed to be working with such a great group. And this is our goal, is to make a difference each and every day and just show up and to perform our jobs, strive to be excellent, continue to create a culture that provides a department of doers and a team that our people want to be a part of, and to make our building and grounds so that they speak for themselves. That reflects their work ethic, the pride that they have, and then the craftsmanship. And that is constantly demonstrated by our department. So these are some of the partnerships I'd like to acknowledge, just for a lot of the things projects we've had over the past year plus. For our clean buildings performance standards, we're working towards compliance. We're like right there. When you look at like where we started, you guys are all aware of what our SCM students are doing and the work that we've collaborated with M&O and with McDonald Miller and with Charlie Halp at New Energy Technologies, and then obviously with the Wenatchee School District, and then the high school's CTE department. In Chelan PUD, they've been very instrumental in a lot of the things that we have going on right now, both Drew Thompson and Jim White. I'm going to give those guys a shout out, appreciate their support and their efforts in everything that we do when it comes to getting into the mandates that are required by the state. So Chelan County PUD and the Schmidt Electric, they're working together to get LED lighting in our schools. Even with some of the older buildings that we have, we've gone through and we've changed lighting in Orchard, Foothills, Lewis and Clark, Newberry, and we're currently working on Pioneer Middle School. Plan is to circle back at Sunny Slope at some point. And then just the support from the board, Corey and Sean, cabinet members, and so many others within our district. We would not be able to do all the incredible things we do without your support, and we truly do appreciate that. I'd like to give the Klosh Group and Garco Construction and ALSC a shout out as well for the great work that's going on right now at the Tech Center. So if you haven't had a chance to get out there and tour that, please do. It's pretty impressive. These are some of the challenges that we face in our department. Budget's always going to be a thing, right? And with the state of how things are, we're just going to continue to do what we can do with what we're given. But it is sometimes a juggling game. It's a shell game that we have to play, which is just unfortunate because we do have a lot of needs in the district, just because of some of the aging. Beyond the high school, we also have aging buildings as well. Lack of custodial subs, that's been a tough one. It's been a rough year in that department. Sure, some of the cabinet members have heard. Compliance, there's a lot of compliance things that are really starting to roll out. Clean building standards, water sampling, ramp is kind of a new one that came aboard, and that's reporting for refrigerant use. And then we have our ICOS and APP, which is basically something we have to do annually to let the state know that we are being responsible for public funds and any of the construction bills that we have in the district. And then ADA, that seems to be kind of a thing we're really having to start being aware of as students kind of come up through the system into other schools, is how can we best meet the needs of what those individuals need. So I've had conversations with Shane, and that kind of goes back to road mapping. You get those kind of ideas out there and we kind of see where we're at. And then the bond. I don't think we all know where we're at with the high school and the bond. And then just like I mentioned before, upkeeping of our aging facilities. Vandalism kind of seems to be another big one. It seems to be pretty widespread across the schools. used to just be high school and middle school. Now it's kind of filtered down into the elementary schools, unfortunately, but our folks deal with a lot of vandalism. And then our vacant properties, they're a challenge to maintain. You know, for a while there, we kind of had a couple campgrounds at a couple of our vacant lots. So you know, there's just constant supervision, cleaning up, which takes away from other things that we can do. And then just, my duties and time, you know, I'm juggling basically 3 departments. This has been the most challenging year I've worked here. I've had some pretty challenging years, but this one's up there. And part of it is just because we have so much going on, and that's just the necessity of everything. But it's also just because there's a lot going on. So these are some of the projects we kind of either have going on right now or leading into the summer. So Lincoln Playground, we're going to remove the bark and install rubber tiles for zero entry so all students can access it. We're going to completely build from the ground up 3 counselors' office in Wenatchee High School in part of the library. High school hood, we have to remove an old wet system, something that should have been done about 25 years ago. And we'll change it to a dry Ansel system. And then we're just going to continue to top dress a lot of our fields across the district like we've already done to help improve our athletic fields and playing surfaces for both our student athletes and then also user groups. Plan is to do the track at the high school. BJ's been great to work with, and she's willing to shut areas down so that our folks have an opportunity to get in there and do that. And then installation of a new play set that we have going on here at John Elementary. That's going to be happening pretty quick. I think this weekend there's plan to grub the ground and then to get everything rolling after that. Then obviously the tech center modernization of building A and B. Then graduation's like what, 6-7 weeks away. That's always a big production for us. It takes several days to kind of set that up. And then another one that's kind of an unknown is a grant status. You know, we have the potential of replacing operating system controls at Foothills Middle School, which is like super needed. So like the slide says, fingers are crossed on that one. In closing, you know, I just like to say that if you've taken anything away from this conversation, know that the district, that as a district, we are fortunate to have all the amazing people who embody our department. So thank you for your time, and if there's any questions.
I'd say I've seen you at a lot of meetings that you weren't doing last year, the facilities and then from the design stuff. So thanks for that extra time, because I know that combines with all the other stuff you're doing. So appreciate all that work and then also the extra stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do. It's very clear that you're very proud of your team and the work that they do. And like you said, there's no, what was it about there's only bad leaders?
No bad teams, only bad leaders.
Yeah. And so that shows. I hear about the challenges with custodian, like lack of filling in the sub positions and all that. And it dawned on me one day as I was walking down to my car in the evening. I know there's obviously a financial cost to getting newer equipment. But now, like, for example, at the college, we have this floor polisher. I don't know what it does, but it just kind of goes on its own. And then when the people walk by it, it stops, and then there's a little red light, and then it turns around and goes a different area. So it reduces the manpower required to do that job. I don't know if, again, there's a financial aspect to it, but then can you, instead of writing the little thingy, it could go on its own. So something to consider.
Appreciate that suggestion. That's something that we've kind of looked in a little bit, but not like really kind of deep dived into it. So, I mean, I know they're available. So, yep.
Very impressive to know where the walls are, people moving, and obviously it's done after hours. So there's not much traffic going on, but I was like, oh.
Thank you.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking as you were saying. It's like, that's kind of creepy.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you. Met most of you. Haven't met you, Caroline. Jennifer C., go by Jen C., um, Transportation Director. So for most of you, I want to start out with this picture here. Oh, remember last year I had a problem with this. Okay. So this was a load zone picture that I took out of Mission View last fall when I was at that load zone. This is about 2/3 of our fleet for Mission View. So Mission View, we can't get all of our buses in at one time. We have to send what we call a first fleet, and then 10 minutes later after they load and go, we send a second fleet in. But those buses all look pretty, and that lead bus is a 2016 bus, so pretty darn proud of that. It's 10 years old. I'll talk about the pride that our drivers take into the equipment a little bit later. But anytime I get a chance to take a great school bus yellow picture like that, that's what's on my camera. A little about me. I am a grandma of two, Ryder and Paisley, 6 and 4, and we have guardianship, my husband Tom and I, so we are busy. We took that picture, obviously, at the Savannah Bananas. I was very thrilled that we had a box seat. My grandson wanted to sit below. So I was like, what? Everyone else wants to be up here, I promise, and having the free food, but he wanted to be down below, so we'll have to take him to the Mariners game this year. My youngest son, Jackson, he is currently serving in the U.S. Army and is stationed, thankfully, at Joint Base Lewis McChord currently. So he's in the 160th Division. Very proud of him. We get to see him a lot these days. Our staff. So our amazing family that we call our staff. It entitles 3 mechanics, 2 are solely for our buses, and then 1 we have as a white fleet, so takes care of all of the motor pool in the district and our non-odometer equipment. So we're talking about snow blowers, weed whackers, the Ventrex system that we use during the snow. We have 3 office staff plus myself, 31 contracted drivers, 1 of those currently in open position in transportation, and 6 what I would call full-time subs that we can draw from. Everyone above has their CDLs, and they can and will drive students to and from school, and have the past couple weeks. We are in spring sports. We are in spring field trips. We have 2 buses over in Seattle today. So it is busy, busy, busy always. In addition to our CDL holders, we have 2 contracted bus monitors that help with our special ed, and then 2 substitute bus monitors, but they work daily. This picture was taken at our end of the year picnic last year at Confluence Park. My grandson was nice enough to loan his blow up water slide. And what I love about our end of the year picnics is it is a family affair. So spouses come and kids come and grandkids come, and we make it a big deal. Our hours of operation, our drivers are in from about 5:45 a.m. till 7 p.m. And that 7 p.m. dispatcher is making sure that all of our afters kiddos get home. So our afters for the Malaga area, they have to go out to Malaga and then up to the Stimulant warehouse and then up to School Chuck and drop off kiddos. So about 7 o'clock is when our latest driver is getting home from a real day and our dispatcher can leave. Our mechanics work 5:30 to 5:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And that's staggered between the 3 of them. And then they're on call after hours. Our office staff is there 5:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. staggered between the 4 of us. And well, as much of us are here, we're on call 24 hours a day. So when my phone starts ringing at 5:30 on a Saturday morning, my husband's like, trips are going today, aren't they? They most certainly are. Our fleet. So for the yellow bus side of it, we have 39 buses, 26 type D buses, which are preferable for our area and the amount of trips that we do. And the type D bus is going to be the bus all the way to your right. I'm sorry, all the way to your left. It's going to have undercarriage that we can store for field trips and bigger engine and pull our mountains better. We have 8 type C buses. That's the middle bus. One of the, I'm sorry, 2 of those are gonna be full-size buses. Oh, yeah, never mind. We have 2 type C general ed. Those are the 40-foot buses. Those are really what the state reimburses you for, that style of bus. So anything above, when we buy the bus that's on the left, that's an additional charge. But the bus in the middle doesn't fit our needs. Even to do our band's trips down to the Apple Blossom, they all want undercarriage. So if we can't get that undercarriage, you're going to hear about it from the band directors. And then we have 8 type C, which is the middle bus, but smaller, and those are for our SPED students. And then I tried something a little bit different because on the west side where I'm from, or the coast, type A buses are really popular over there. So we've kind of dabbled in those to see if they would work for our area. They are working okay, but I think we need to stay with the larger type C bus to get more kids. And really that's because we only run on a 2-bell system instead of a 3-bell system. Our white fleet, so out of transportation, we have 6 vehicles, 3 Suburbans, 1 Yukon, and 2 Chevy vans. These vehicles are housed at transportation, and they're used by athletics, programs from different schools, and staff going to conferences. Those are the main reasons that we're gonna be loaning out those vehicles. Department vehicles that transport students. So we have different departments throughout our district that have their own vehicles. So CTE has 5 vehicles of their own. Transition House has 4. Westside has 1, and the Tech Center have 4. So our mechanics are also responsible, and they need to go through state patrol each year. Support vehicles not for student transport. M&O has trades. They have 6 of them. For grounds, they have 6 vehicles, 1 warehouse vehicle. The Pony, our inner district, has 1. Nutrition services, Steph has 3 over there. Marlin has 6. And MKV and Migrant each have 1 that they have purchased off of grants in recent years. So our summary for our white fleet and non-odometer, really the first of the month, because there are so many vehicles at different locations, we open up for the different districts or different buildings to bring their vehicles to us the first Monday of every month to do a safety check. And that's where the mechanics can look over fluid levels, tire pressure, make sure all the lights are working. If there is something going on in between that time, we have a Google document that actually Brian and I created a few years ago to help our teams work better together. And we've kind of branched it out for other items as well. But they'll enter into the Google document any work that needs to be done. And then Jake, who is our white fleet mechanic, will reach out to them and get it scheduled to be brought over. Challenges of having such a big white fleet. As departments increase their vehicle numbers, it adds work onto our mechanics. So although our buses are kind of staying steady, we're getting a bigger workload in our mechanics bays because of all the vehicles. As more staffs are driving students with no professional training or drug testing, that's kind of a little scary, right? We have all these vehicles that we don't know where they are. I mean, someone knows who they are, right? Jake Buholtz knows where his are, but I don't know. And so, you know, I remember the Cascade collision, if you guys remember, during the winter time. And Corey called me. I was at my grandson's basketball game, and he goes, do we have a bus in a collision? I was like, well, I hope not. What? I don't know. And so as I started doing research and reaching out to our directors around the area and found out who it was, the only thing I could think of was, thank goodness they were not in vans. Thank goodness they were not in Suburbans, because it would have been so much different. That bus rolled. The driver was hurt, but they were the only person that was hurt. So it has for a long time. I know that motor pool has a place in our district, but we don't have any drug testing with our drivers and we don't know their driving habits. So that's my 2 cents on that. Sorry about that. And that goes for all equipment within our, I mean, you're running a snow blower or anything else. Sorry, Brian, if I'm stepping on you, but you know, they're safety sensitive equipment. I'm all about safety.
But just to clarify, we do, at our bus drivers, we do have that oversight though.
Yes, so
Correct. I just wanna
and
clarify
that's
that.
the thing is that we have initial testing, drug testing, and then we have random testing 3 times a year. So, and we're in a random pool. Okay, high standards for transportation. I feel like we hold ourselves to really high standards. The cleanliness of buses, saw in that picture, you know, no one knew I was going to go out and take that picture, but the buses were clean. It was the end of February and I go out and kind of do my woohoos and blow my air horn on a Friday afternoon to, you know, tell everyone goodbye. And I remember earlier in the day going, boy, it's going to be nice next week. I need to put a sign up to wash your buses, right? Like, remember, use your wash time. And as I stood out there with my annoying air horn that they all really don't like and screaming at them as they're leaving, I noticed every single bus that went by was already clean. They had already taken it upon themselves to clean. So they do take that pride. The expectation is that route buses get to washed once a week. And after each trip, we wash, sweep, mop, and we clean the windows because the kids like to lay their heads on the windows. And you can imagine how that goes after wrestling all afternoon or something. We also do mandatory monthly meetings. It keeps our team connected. I serve them a light breakfast and we do nuts and bolts. And then we bring in guest speakers. So Clear Risk, our insurance company, has come in several times and done that training. I got word last year that Hunter from the ESD did a gang training. I was like, how do I get that for the drivers? So she came in and did that. And I actually reached out to Child Protective Services and they're going to come in and talk to us about mandatory reporting in May. So I'm always looking for guest speakers because they don't want to listen to me for an hour and a half, I promise you. Industry connections, we're involved, our staff's involved, I'm involved in industry connections. So supervisor meetings at the ESD I attend. This year I'm the president of our chapter. School bus rodeo, that both at the regional and the states, and I co-chair that. We traveled to ESD 189's workshop in Monroe last month. I took a group of drivers. It was a great workshop and just some team building that we were able to do. We attend the WAPT, Washington Association of Pupil Transportation yearly conference that the driver trainers and myself attend. CWU, it's a pupil transportation management program. Our driver trainer, Laura Fox, just finished her 4th and final year last year in doing that. And our White Fleet's mechanic, Jake Wilcher, is enrolled for his 1st year this summer. So it's 4 years, once a week, for 1 week, 4 years for 1 week, every July. And then our driver trainers network within our valley and area. I had the Quincy and Ephrata driver trainers come to our in-service last year. They are both volunteer firefighters as well, and they were able to do a smoke the bus event for our staff. So real-time billing the bus with smoke and how you would get out of there. And then our driver trainer went to Quincy a few months back and taught bus drivers our risk managers too. And that was actually an end of the year project that she did during her CWU project. So there's some pictures of our Smoke the Bus event from the internal and then us exiting the bus. That was a lot of fun. We hadn't done that since I had been here. And then going back to rodeo, just this last Saturday, a bunch of us were in Moses Lake for our ESD 171 rodeo. where Penny Talbot, she's the one in the burgundy pants, took first place overall and will be representing Wenatchee School District on June 28th in Kennewick. Eric Johnson, he is standing next to Penny. He's had his license since February and he took 4th overall. So very, very proud of those guys. They practiced hard and they worked hard and they are fantastic safe drivers.
Jen, I'm picturing like parallel parking a bus, jumping it maybe a little bit.
I wish we could. Yeah, I
just-
really wish.
Okay,
we could.
what are some other things?
So the regional, the rodeo is an 11 event competition. And you're absolutely right. There is parallel parking. There's also backing into a stall. There's running your tires through 25, your rear tires through 25 inches of tennis balls. So tennis balls, 25 inches a piece away, and you run your duel through it. There are offset alley where you go through some stanchions, curb line, stop line, and of course we have railroad and student stop, which they should be getting maximum points on, hopefully. But it's a lot of fun. Dwayne, Lisa, and Thomas were support staff up there and they helped with logistics and judging all day long. But we really, Dwayne, Lisa, and I met some folks up there 2 weeks ago and marked the course. And then we were on site at 5:30 on Saturday morning and left about 3. So this is a kind of dedication that these team members, this is all volunteer work. No one's getting paid. I tell them they have a job on Monday, whether they show up or not. I do have to say this is a pretty small crew. Typically we have about 5 folks competing, but our trips were crazy last year. I don't know if your kids were on any trips on Saturday, but I think we went to every single corner of the state. And so some people stepped away from rodeo because it is a volunteer position to earn their money. Let's see, where am I here? Okay, we're there. Okay, so lending a helping hand or partnerships, training other districts. We've been able to help train some other districts. So our driver trainers have trained their folks to become school bus drivers. Pinnacles Prep and INEAT this past year, we've helped out. We've also been able to lend out substitute school bus drivers because our staffing has been so good. So we've done that for Pinnacles Prep, INEAT, Cascade, Cashmere. And Palisades is kind of a unique one because I lent them in February and they've never come back. So they called me recently and said, can we keep them till the end of the school year? And I mean, really, what do you say? So they will be there through the end of the school year. But I'm glad we're in a position. I'm glad people look to us for help and support when they need it. Pinnacles Prep, we are doing their midday student transfers to the tech center. So we do kind of a round robin, an AM session and a PM session, and we pick up their Pinnacles kids in the middle of that. And then when they are in need, we have done field trips for them as well. YMCA, before and after school care and summer field trips is how we help them now. Community connections, we continue to adopt a family for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We do our Touch the Truck event, which is coming up really quickly. Castle Rock launched a community partner event this year where they invited us and Busby. And so there's a picture of them. Emily was very thrilled with her turnout. We go up to adopt a Wenatchee Heights and adopt a road every year. And I think we might be walking down Wenatchee Heights this year. Last year we walked up and well, Jen's getting older these days. So I was like, I don't know. And then I tried to call my husband on the phone and like, there's a no cell signal right there. It was bad. It was really bad. And then recruiting, we do the Drive the Bus event where we have community members come in and drive. And our driver trainer came up with a pop-in event this year, which was really great. It happened during the school day and folks got to see our department in action. Relationships with buildings and students, building administration appreciate and support our drivers. through conduct reports. So really, our student management has improved over the years that I've been here, and it is a direct relationship with the administration and the drivers and myself. So that is great. Drivers support our students, not just to and from school, but through athletics. We did a lot of smoke adjustments last fall. 2 drivers were recognized by girls basketball players back in February as a staff member who made an impact on them from the district. That was Dwayne Simpson and Rick Pepin. So they were super excited to be there. And that's a picture of them in the bottom. And then, as Julie alluded to last year, our drivers just really love to go and watch the sports as they're doing that. Growing leaders, if you guys remember Bowen last year, he was an intern turned sub-mechanic turned fueler. And he snatched up the kind of coordinator position that they have now turned into a director position in INEAT. So super proud of him. And then our goal is just to continue to foster a friendly family environment where our staff truly enjoys showing up. We want everyone to feel the positive impact they make on our students every day, whether we're safely transporting them to the classroom or cheering them on at their activities. Challenges, RFID cards, year after year. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. Transportation is doing the printing in-house now at transportation. So I feel like at the beginning of the school year, we'll have a handle on that. And then we're really growing out of our current building, and it's not the internal building, but it's the external. Like, we don't have enough staff parking. If we have, 6 trips out and subs and everyone, Steph and I've worked and kind of moved stuff around, and she's moved one of her spare vehicles out, and I have cones everywhere that kind of tick Brian's guys out because they have to move their cones. But just trying to really make it so that our staff has somewhere to park when they show up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Invitation to you all. Stop by, say hi, check out transportation, or just ride a route with us this spring. There we go. Okay, any questions?
All right, I got one for you.
Yes.
So I know that the state changed the reimbursement schedule on buses. How are you feeling about our current fleet in terms of like pushing it for another, I think, 3 years?
Yeah, well, the good news is we take care of our equipment. And so since I've been, I came in 2020, and our CFOs have allowed us to buy buses, and I preach that to our staff. Like, you guys, these are $240,000 equipment. We're going to take care of them. So is it great that we have to go another 3 years? No. Is it doable in our department? It's doable because we take care of our stuff. We still are off depreciation though. We don't have as many buses on depreciation as I'd like to. And Sean and I haven't met since that legislation ruling came down. So it's doable, but it's not great for anyone. Yeah. Yes, thank you for the question.
I just kind of echoing what I said last year. It's just amazing the connections that these drivers are making with the students. Sometimes the first ones they see and the last ones, first ones in the morning, last ones in the afternoon, and just their investment in our schools and our kids is amazing. And my daughter was the one that invited Dwayne.
I know, so great.
He just
So great.
She just absolutely loves Dwayne, and Lisa will show up to the away games even when they're not assigned the bus schedules, and they have learned all the families, everyone recognizes them. And I know there's some other drivers that are similar. It's amazing to see that investment in our schools, and it really is wonderful for the kids. So I just really appreciate the great staff that we have.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So we have a bus broken down in Seattle. I'm going to go check on it real quick. I'll be back.
Okay, I'm Stephanie Cranbuell, and I'm with Nutrition Services. Just gonna go right into this. Okay. Okay, a little bit about me. I'm married to my husband Andy. We have 3 children. Haley, our oldest, is in med school in Henderson, Nevada. And then Hunter will be graduating this year, and then our daughter is a freshman here at Wenatchee High School. I grew up in Yakima, and I just moved to Wenatchee in 2016, so we're almost 10 years here. Good move. We really enjoy it. I went to IBC in Yakima, and I started my career in nutrition at assisted living facilities. So I started on the other end of things, and now I'm in children. So my path to nutrition was basically just overseeing the operations and nutrition departments in several assisted living facilities. I also led the ground up opening of an operation process, including nutrition services for assisted living facility that we had to open from the ground up. That meant all paperwork, everything, passing the initial inspections for them to even start program. I began here in Wenatchee as a sub. My first job was a 2-hour dishwashing position at Pioneer. Loved it. It was great. And then they kept pulling me. I was working every day. And now I know why. Then I ended up kitchen manager out at Sunny Slope. That was my first actual hired on job. And then from there, I've been at every school. I've worked in every position. I then became the coordinator after my short time at the high school. And now, of course, I'm the director. And I don't just manage the program, I've lived it. I have my experience at every level ensures that team success are built on a practical reality. Like, I know what they're going through on a daily basis. I know the shortages. I know when we can't get things. I know what it's like to have to pivot real quick because I've done it. I drove the truck. I pulled commodities. Like, I've done everything that has to do with this department. And so I'm able to relate to what they're going through. I opened up Sunny Slope's kitchen this morning. So like, I'm living it every day. Like, I didn't know if I was going to be here because I was in Sunny Slope this morning and I had the whole kitchen out. So it's just one of those things that we always have people out, and I just jump in wherever. I would never ask my team to do something I am not willing to do. So, all right, who we are. Well, we're fun. You can see we have a good time. They like to get involved in everything for the school, dress up days, you name it. The top picture here was, well, the day after school's closed, and I was on the curb handing out lunches in COVID. So, I mean, we stopped school. Next day we're handing out lunches. So we just keep going. All right. So we've got 1 director secretary. I've got 10 managers, 11 nutrition associates, 1 driver/warehouse, 5 subs, and I have an open position. I may have 5 subs, but they seem to work every day. So it's never like we have an abundance of people at all. All right, what we do. Well, we make food, obviously. The center 2 pictures of the warehouse, those are actually the admin helping pull commodities when we didn't have a driver or someone to pull commodities. So we had a whole team up there filling the orders for the schools, which was very nice for the help because it took a long time. On daily, our staff are some of the first in the buildings preparing for the day. Some of them arrive as early as 5 o'clock. So we are first in. We're usually first out though also, which isn't a bad thing. Not gonna lie. We serve nutrition meals for breakfast, lunch, and after school programs. We have our driver who delivers food from the warehouse to all our schools and then also runs food from school to school based on what needs to go where. We do a lot of sharing in the district because maybe someone got shorted or they didn't order it or they just need a little bit. So he runs all over delivering extra things throughout the day. On a daily, they're ensuring food safety and allergy management. Allergy management's been kind of a big one this year that we're really trying to really preach this because we've got a lot of kids with allergies, and that's pretty serious. And I want them to understand the seriousness of the situation and how to manage that and make sure that they're getting the foods that they actually need. We support students' health and academic success. We're encouraging participation and equity. We work within the budget while meeting USDA regulations. That's a really tough one sometimes, very tough. And also our staff make connections. They have made some really great connections with students. Students come to them for things that maybe they wouldn't go to a teacher for. They've just become comfortable with some of our staff, and that's kind of a good place for them to be. All right, so it's more than just a meal. It's equity. We're closing the hunger gap and leveling the playing field for all students. Our district currently, all except for Valley, is CEP, so they all qualify for free breakfast and lunch at this point. This is our 4th year. We are reapplying for next year, for the next 4-year cycle, and we're in the process of that right now. We help with academic success. Better nutrition equals better behavior, sharper focus, higher grades. And then the culture. We're creating a supportive environment where staff and students can thrive together. So that's the connections that they make. They come in, they're excited to see the lunch ladies, they're excited to see all of everyone that's there, you know, and they greet them. And that's something I really stressed to the staff this year is, you know, you really need to make those connections because you want to draw those kids in to eat. And if they're afraid of the cafeteria, they're not going to. So that's a big thing that we're doing this year is really making sure we're making those connections with the students. All right, so the numbers behind our success. Last year, we served just under 1 million meals for breakfast and lunch. Our after-school meals, we served 22,000. Summer meals, 3,200. And then we also partner with Small Miracles and vended 6,181 meals for the program to serve at the parks. And we will be partnering with them again this year to do the same thing. So try to keep the kids fed over the summers along with during the school years too. All right, some barriers and challenges, oh boy. One of the things is coordinating nutrition service staff across all the sites. So I've got 11 sites. I'm one person. And it's difficult sometimes when there's different things going on at all schools. And all schools kind of run things slightly differently. So just to coordinate that and to make sure that everyone is staying within regulations along with fitting what their school needs is sometimes very difficult. Maintaining the service level despite aging equipment and staff gap. We have some very old equipment. It's breaking, it's failing. The staff deal with it every day. And then of course, like I said earlier, the staffing problems. I don't start at schools usually, but sometimes I do. Strict dietary requirements. So it's balancing the USDA requirements for whole grain sodium limits and sugar limits, which continue to drop. The whole grain keeps going up and sodium keeps dropping, and so does sugar. 80% of all our grains must be whole grain rich. And then it's also difficult to meet the daily/weekly minimum of each vegetable group because they list it out by vegetable group. You have to have your dark greens, your red orange, your beans, peas, and lentils, starchies, and others. And you have to offer those every week to the students. So that's why we do a salad bar at most schools, is so that we can have those on the salad bar as much as possible. Procurement is a problem. It's very complex, the bidding process, and then the rising costs of equipment are making it even a little bit more complex. Buy American. So we have to currently purchase American-made items. The most non-domestic item we can have is 10% of our actual current budget. So we can only purchase things that are non-domestic up to 10% of our actual budget. So that causes the problem. Bananas are not domestic. They're never going to be domestic. Some of like tropical fruits, things like that, those aren't domestic products. When you get off seasons for produce here in this area or even in US, trying to get produce that's domestic is very difficult. That is also going to be transitioning down to 5%. So we're gonna have to have even less. So I don't know how we're gonna feed the kids things that are like unique and different because we can't purchase it. So like I said, it's difficult for our produce. It's one of our main issues. Tomatoes often come elsewhere, kiwis, just depends on what we get, but different times of the year, you can't get that stuff domestically. Administrative, so the high volume of paperwork and then that goes along with the administrative side of things, and then the new organic waste mandates that are going into effect that we're currently working on figuring out how to manage that in all our schools. All right, a little bit of celebrations. Our staff always adapt. They overcome all the challenges with equipment, with staffing, and continue to focus on the student service. My schools, they've worked short. They've worked with me. They have an oven that goes down mid-lunch. I mean, we get a hold of Brian often because we need help. Refrigerators that go down, freezers that go down. There's just constantly seems like there's something failing somewhere. And so they've really learned to adapt out of need. Another celebration is Farm to School. We're using the Farm to School grant to build some partnerships with some local farms. We're serving local produce and some local beef. With that, we partnered with Magana and Deborah's Beef for a little while to get some beef and some like pit fruit, nectarines, peaches, earlier in the year that we can't get from our other suppliers. The other celebration is the bond that they're making with their students. That is a huge one for me. That's what draws them into the cafeteria. That's what's going to get them to eat. And then March 1st is Lunch Hero Day. I give them the day off, but that's how we're celebrating. No, we'll celebrate the day before since we don't have anything. I just went ahead and give them the day off. All right, these are just some shout outs. The one in the corner over here, that's the PTO. They were shouted out to our Sunny Slope team. The one down below that, that is Lewis and Clark on, I think that was Pizza Day. They're all wearing their pizza shirts. And then Washington's admin, give a shout out to her kitchen for the work they're doing in organizing and keeping positive energy. And just for our team, this is huge for our team. I just want to thank them because they are who do this, right? So a huge thank you to the team for their tireless dedication, for maintaining the highest safety standards to the way you connect with your students. You are the reason we succeed. And they really are. I mean, without them, we could not do what we're doing, especially since it's at so many different schools. I can't be everywhere. Nor do I want to be. I'll give you a little invitation. Come serve at the high school on a day, any day, you pick one. They like to serve about 600 kids or more in about 20 minutes. So it's super fast, super chaotic, but they've got it under control and they do a really good job. You want to come for some birria tacos with that Geber's beef? Those will be on the 29th. You want to come join us for lunch? Or join any of our schools for a meal. We'd love for you to see what we're doing. Questions?
All right, I've got one. Since I've been dealing with the design advisory committee, have you talked to the architects yet about the kitchen?
But I wanted to tour more kitchens when we actually went on the tours. I have not spoke directly to them about it, but that will definitely be something we'll need to.
Corey, is that? Okay,
Yeah.
because I know, because I mean, 600 meals in 20 minutes and with the space you have is phenomenal, but that shouldn't be the planning case.
Yeah, that
So,
is.
So,
I mean,
okay.
we do it down the hall. We have a station down the hall. We have a station in the new commons, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But okay, cool.
Any other questions? No? All right. That'd be.
All right. Hey, it works. All right, great. Oh, well, yeah, it's a good thing. Well, I'd like to thank you for having us here today. I appreciate the opportunity always to present to the board and talk about the great things that technology is doing here at the school district. So what does technology do? Well, really, what does technology not do? We're involved in everything.
if you think about it. But specifically in education, we support teaching, learning, and operations. That's what we do. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about me, get that out of the way. I've been married 31 years to my lovely wife that I met in school. We have 4 kids and 2 grandkids. My oldest daughter and her husband are in dental school in Louisville, Kentucky. My youngest daughter is in Rigby, Idaho. Her and husband work for a technology company. And then my oldest son, Christian, he is actually serving what's called a service mission for our church in Idaho. And then I have my youngest son who is serving a church mission in St. George, Utah. So I got kids all over the stinking country. So, and it's just me and the wife now. And as we'll talk about the 3 dumb dogs. So it's me and my wife, the 3 dogs. You can see the lovely 3 dogs there. That was Halloween. We can see our Roman soldier. And let's see, Daisy was a rooster, a chicken. And let's see, Evie, she was a dragon. So that's kind of what we're doing now in our older age, you know, with no kids. Get excited with the dogs. I've been in IT leadership for 26 years. I recently came, this is again my first year at the Wenatchee School District. I had 13 years under my belt as the technology director in Moses Lake School District. I'm excited to be a part of this community, part of this district. Before that, I worked many of those years in the private sector. So before getting into government, specifically education, I worked at companies such as IBM. I spent a lot of time on the East Coast, New York, Maryland, Virginia. Also Lucent Technologies, same thing on the East Coast. Before I went to Moses Lake, I was actually the technology director of Samaritan Healthcare in Moses Lake, if you know where that's at. Just built a brand new hospital, just opened this last month there in Moses Lake. So that's a little bit about me. Yes,
Playing the newbie card. What was your name?
Marlon.
Marlon?
Yes, Marlon
Okay.
Howell. Yes, that's all right. I probably should have led with that, but that's okay. Okay, so I think we need a little bit of participation. I think we've just been talking a lot. Corey, would you mind reading that quote here on the okay, you know, thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. That's realistically, I know it's a little bit of humor, but there's a lot of truth to it too. They say, you know, the truth is in jest. Well, that it is true. So it is true. We do a lot of things. We put a lot of technology out there, but our kids have a great way of finding the loopholes and finding those little areas that we need to plug. So that's basically a day in technology and education, specifically K-12. So who are we? Well, this is the team. You can see there, we've got a great team. We have 22 lovely individuals, including myself in the technology department. I'll give you a sec just to kind of peruse some faces if you know some of them. You might be able to pick out our young apprentices. They look very young. But I'm just, the team has been wonderful. I was very concerned, you know, initially coming into the department because Ron had been here for 30 years. And, you know, he's got big shoes to fill. He did an amazing job here. I knew Ron before I came, and I was a little concerned about just trying to, you know, fill in those shoes. But this team has been amazing. The district has been amazing. And I'm truly grateful for them. And they've been very welcoming, including everybody else. So I want to do a shout out to the team and everybody else because they have truly been amazing for the last 9 months. Okay. So the technology department, let's go over it a little bit. So like these other operational departments, we support 19 campuses in all of the district operations. We support thousands of devices and users. So you think about it, every single device that is included in technology, we support. It's from a projector to a microphone, to a laptop, to an access point for your wireless, you name it, Chromebooks, iPads, iPhones, Android. If you think technology, we're responsible for it. Especially a lot of the systems that you guys never even see. How many of you have actually gone into a network closet in the school district? Some actually done that? Yeah, there's so much in technology that you will never see. You might see the end user devices, but there's so much behind the scenes that happens. That includes the network. It's the internet connection, the phone system, and our security systems. And obviously with K-12 education, the security and the filtering is essential. We got to protect our kiddos, right? So that is a huge part of what we do, is taking care of our students and also our staff to make sure they're not accessing the things that could actually hurt them. Okay. We also support instructional technology and cybersecurity. Those are huge nowadays, and they just keep getting more and more and more important. Okay. I look at my staff as technology superheroes. That's truly what they are. We're kind of like the Spider-Mans. We're kind of silent. We kind of, go around and we save people. And that's what technology does. There's so much behind the scenes. You guys don't see even a lot of the tech people. They're just doing their jobs and doing it well. And I truly believe that they are superheroes, and everything that they do, the knowledge that they have. One of the things that's, and we'll talk about it in a sec, but one of the things that's really difficult in a K-12 setting is keeping really good talent, because they can go somewhere else and make 30 to 40% more overnight. And so there's many things that we have to do, and I have to do as a leader to try to keep them happy and engaged. And one of those things is making sure that they understand what their purpose is. It's not just technology, it's kids. We're here for kids. We're here to educate that next generation. And so it's difficult, but that's my job, is making sure that we do that. So we've got a lot of team members. Again, we have 22 individuals, including myself. We have engineers. We have building technicians. We have instructional support. So what's instructional support? A lot of people ask that. Well, that's the actual piece that's in the classroom. So there's technology, there's operations that we take care of, and then there's the instructional technology. And that is huge, because ultimately that's what we do. We use that technology in the classroom to help with instruction. Okay. We have network and systems administration. So we've got several positions that handle all that. We have the data and system support, including websites. All that data that flows in between all of our systems that you use each and every day is managed by technology. Okay. We take care of the classroom tech, the projectors, speakers, the microphones, everything that's in a classroom, we also take care of. We have to do the safety and security systems and the management of those. So our cameras, access control when you get into a building, all of that is done through technology. And then we have leadership and project management. As Brian talked about, on his staff with all the projects he has, we have daily projects, yearly projects, quarterly projects as well that we manage. And it's just, we have the operations side where we manage day to day, and then we have those projects that we take care of as well. And one shout out I'd like to talk about is the apprenticeship program. Ron has done an amazing job starting that program. This year, since I came on in July, we've had 3 apprentices that have graduated from that program, completed and moved on and received jobs, gotten jobs in the marketplace. So we're very happy about that, and you truly see, and that really helps our staff too, to see, hey, they were students for a couple of years doing this, and now they're out as peers. So it's great to see that. Okay. So what does a typical day in technology look like? Well, we have the classroom support. Everything works great until it doesn't, right? That's my mantra. We have a lot of things, a lot of working parts, and those things break down, just like your car, just like anything else. Of course, we have the board meeting and all of a sudden the sound will go. Just things like that happen. And we take care of each and every one of those systems. We troubleshoot all of our devices, all of our student devices, all of our staff devices, any device that's on the network, and some that even aren't, we take care of. Our network and systems management. Sometimes people just think that we just hook up to the internet and that's all it takes. There's a lot to it, a lot behind the scenes that are happening with networks, with our systems and the management of those systems on a daily basis. Although they happen, and they happen rarely, we do respond to outages. So if we have a network outage, we're responsible for that too. And the quickest way for our phones to get overwhelmed is to have an internet outage. As soon as that internet edge goes out, we are completely down across the district. And you realize just how dependent we are on technology. We also do a lot of our cybersecurity monitoring. As each and every day passes, we always talk about the black hats and the white hats, the good and the bad. And we deal with that on a daily basis. There are bad actors all over this world that are trying to get into our network, take over our systems, manipulate our staff and our students through all sorts of means. And so that's one of our key goals, is to make sure that we don't have that within our system. And that takes money, and it takes time, and it takes systems to be able to do that. And then we have maintenance and project management. So we have a number of, again, projects that are upcoming. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a sec. We've got a number of projects that might be interested to know what we're doing. Okay, so our impact. How do we, really affect everyone around the district? Well, we have thousands of daily logins every day. Just imagine a day where you came in and you couldn't log into your computer. You couldn't log into Google. You couldn't access your files. What would happen? Yeah. So we have that impact. We have that impact, good or bad, right? So those thousands of daily logins, interactions are handled, and they're handled very well. We have hundreds of tickets for tech-related issues every month. And some days they're a lot more than others. But my guys do a fantastic job managing all of the issues that come across their desks. Our district-wide uptime. Can anybody think the last time we were completely down? I'm gonna knock on wood. Yeah, team does a great job. Yeah, keeping things up. You probably can't remember the last time that we've had a real outage. You might have a little blip here and there, but we've done a remarkable job keeping our systems up, keeping our network up. So the work can be done on a daily basis. Our one-to-one student devices, huge. Our iPads and our Chromebooks throughout the district, thousands of them, they're taken care of on a daily basis. And then just our critical system support. Everyone, is just used to grabbing a phone or jumping on their computer with internet. Their, Wi-Fi is working for their phones or their laptops. Those are the critical systems that we keep each and every day. So how does it happen? Does it just happen, in a vacuum? It doesn't. One thing that I have really tried to push as part of the culture, and again, Ron did a great job, but something that we've done is we want to make sure that we're responsive. We want to make sure that we're solutions focused, not just fixing, but what's the solution for our problems and for our issues. Making sure it's collaborative with the leaders and with all those in the district that we take care of. We try to be proactive in everything that we do. Okay? We don't just try to react when something goes down. We try to maintain the systems and make sure everything's working so it doesn't go down. And then we're service driven. And that's the big key that I'd like to focus on, is that customer focus. I call it the consultative approach. I try to teach and tell my guys that we need to treat everybody here like we're in the private sector. You're our clients. If we don't have clients, we don't have business. Each and every person that we manage, as a student, a staff, is our client here, and we have to treat them as such. And that's kind of a paradigm shift, especially sometimes in government. And I've seen it on the team within the last 9 months, where they're more focused on that customer service aspect. And it's made a difference. I think it's truly made a difference. Okay, celebrations. Well, we go back to reliable connectivity. Our systems are working, and they're working great. We had a strong Google Workspace adoption. So that has gone very, very well. We have little blips here and there, but people are using it. They're using the tools that we provided them, and that's where we determine success. Our content filtering, we just put another content filter. In fact, they had started before I even started July 1st. But we were able to finish that and improve our content filtering for both, specifically our students, but our staff as well. Improve cybersecurity. Network engineers have done a wonderful job just blocking a lot of things that weren't being blocked. And so our team's doing a great job in making sure that we're safe and secure. We've done some ticketing improvements since I started, and one of them is just able to open up a ticket via email. People love it. All they have to do is send an email. It opens up a ticket. They can view it. They can do everything. And that's, again, back to that customer service aspect. How can we make it easier for people to get help? We also put in our Skyward single sign-on. So what does that mean? Well, it's, again, another simple thing, but it's huge. That means they can actually use their Google credentials to log into Skyward. So all they have to do is click a button that says single sign-on, and boom, they're in. Instead of having to remember their passwords every time or having a separate login. And then again, I really want to celebrate our apprenticeship completions. And we had those 3 students that completed, they moved on, and they're doing a fantastic job. And then last week, we interviewed 5 more. We're going to be able to bring in 1 or 2 more over the next few months, be able to start that. So we're excited about the apprenticeship. All right, so some of our goals. We want to continue to improve reliability. Until we're at 100%, we can always improve. That's how I look at it. A lot of people, you've probably heard 4 nines before in the past. Well, what that means is you're 99.99% up, and that's fantastic. But ultimately, we want to be 100% up. We never want to go down any of our systems. So we continue to do that. We continue to enhance our cybersecurity. Again, those black hats and white hats in the world. There's the good and the bad. There's bad actors constantly trying to access our systems and take control. And so we need to make sure that our cybersecurity is always ahead. And our students as well. You'd be surprised how many of our students try to find loopholes. A lot of them. They try to find those little places. Yeah. Some people are really surprised, like just how many try it. And some succeed. But it's always a catch-up game with it. We're always catching up to what they're doing. But between our vendors, between us and leadership, we're able to stop most of them. We want to continue to support classroom innovation. What does that look like? Well, it depends. I'm all about being with technology. Yeah, we want to be up to date and we want to be modern, but we don't have to be the bleeding edge or the cutting edge in K-12. That just wastes money. We've seen examples like Los Angeles school system that bought 50,000 iPads and 2 years later we're selling them on the market because they weren't using them right. There's things that we can do to make sure that we have the right technology in place for what we're trying to do in education. We're ultimately here to support. We're not here to push the education. We're here to support the education. Big project this summer is our end-of-life phone system. So our system is majorly end-of-life. We can't get support. We can't get parts. And so we'll be replacing that full system. So that's almost 1,000 phones that we will be replacing this summer. It's a big system. And then also, one of the other things is we're updating the aging infrastructure. We've got a lot of closets, a lot of network infrastructure that needs some help. And we're doing that. Thank heavens, we still have what's called the E-rate program. E-rate program is through USAC and the FCC, where we can get a certain percentage of our stuff paid for through those grants. And we've applied for that and we've received approval for most of it. So we're excited about that this summer too. Okay, just a couple challenges. Again, our aging infrastructure. I think everyone's kind of talked about that. It's par for the course with where we're at, but we're doing a great job utilizing what we have, wearing it out, and then only having to purchase it when, it's to that point where we got to do it or we're in trouble. Continue our cybersecurity threats. They're a constant battle. Constantly, we're having to, look at that. Sometimes we have to change systems, sometimes tactics as well to make sure that we're not being threatened. We have a growing demand of services. Technology is just getting more and more and more and more. So everything that is implemented these days, there's a technology component. And so we just constantly have those things that are kind of piling up. So we have a lot more growing demands, but we're not hiring. And so we have to be smart about what we're doing there. Obviously, budget constraints. I think that's just common across all of them. And then staffing capacity. It's really difficult. We can't really have subs in technology because if a person is a sub, they're just going to go, work for Microsoft down in Quincy. It's really difficult to have subs within tech. And so we have to have a little bit of extra room. And so when people are like right now, I have 3 people that are out on medical issues. And it puts a real strain on the department when we have that many people out. But we're doing the best we can. And I think that we've got a good plan in place for staffing to be able to continue to support everyone. So an invitation. I think, if you have time, come down and visit us at the M&O building. Most of us are down there, and then we have our individual techs around the building. If you get a chance, say hi to them. They love nothing more than somebody to come say hi and, hey, thanks for, working hard. Because again, technology, we're kind of in the periphery. And so it's good to be recognized. And I know that they like the recognition. Come see behind the scenes if you ever want to go see a network closet or, you want to see something like that. Give me a call, send me an email. More than happy to show you what our infrastructure looks like and give you a brief of what they do. And then again, just technology enables everything. And so, if you have questions or if you need any explanation, please let me know. And then questions.
I got one.
Yeah.
Really hot mic. So hypothetically, if a parent had a student that attended middle school that had an iPad that didn't come home, but it was missing, how do we locate those?
We locate it through the Apple system.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, we can locate them.
All right, Marlon. So I know you weren't here last year, but we passed the cell phone ban. And so I'm assuming there's a lot more stress on the one-to-one devices at the high school.
Yeah.
Have you seen more like loss breakdowns, like people pushing the security measures?
Yeah, they're pushing him. In fact, I'm not going to tell on anybody, but I went to a meeting at the high school last week and I saw a couple kids with their phones outside. You could tell they had been able to bust it open. And so I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to have your phone. There's kids that will, find the loopholes, and we just have to try to block them wherever we can. But yes, we have had a lot of Chromebook issues at the high school this year. So especially we have some new ones, and we've got some pretty good damage on some of them. We're having to send a lot of them out for repair. But that's constant. But I have seen a little bit more this year because they are being utilized more based on phones.
Right. So it's a little bit more. It's not a catastrophic amount of like, oh God.
Yeah, it's not catastrophic, but
Yeah.
we have seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I'll go. I got one. AI
Yes.
with our kiddos.
Yes.
I'm assuming there's some sort of plan in place to try to help teachers catch that or.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the policy is that we don't let the kids use AI because they'll cheat. It's so easy to do. But we are working, and if you know Ray Burks, he's our instructional tech coach. I've been working with him, and there's actually a couple systems that we're looking at that will allow students to use AI, but will be controlled. And so we are doing that now. In fact, it looks like we'll probably be doing a demo of one this spring. And then there'll be more of an announcement on that and what that looks like. Just a lot of AI just isn't ready for student use yet. It's amazing tools, but adults can't even, control it right now. But yeah, AI is going to change the way we do things just as a society.
Well,
And we've already seen that.
I appreciate that approach of just being cautious,
Yeah.
because we're starting to see more of the impact, not just on, student learning, but also the mental aspect of it. So, and then in general, I just want to make a comment. Oftentimes the work that you all do is behind the scenes, but you guys are the core of the school district. And not to short anybody else, but without our clean buildings, our usable facilities, our transportation, are feeding our kids to make sure they're ready for the school day and giving them the resources they need. It's just amazing. And I appreciate you guys coming to share not just about the work that you and your team do, but also a little bit of your personal life, because it just adds that different dynamic. And appreciate it allows us to see a little bit of insight of your dailies. So I just want to say thank you. Thank your team. You guys seem like amazing leaders. Keep up the good work, and thank your team, because they're the ones also out there doing the hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, well said. As you can see, we are incredibly fortunate to have these amazing leaders. Their commitment to our students, to their staff, and our staff in general, and our families is it's simply incredible. I'm just as I'm listening, I'm just like these folks build strong relationships. They have fun with their staff. They're in the trenches with the staff. They are solutions oriented. They handle challenges, lead with integrity, and they've built strong resiliencies to keep coming back for more. So I'm just so proud of all of you, and honored to work with them. And we are in good hands as a district because of it. So thanks everyone for a great board workshop.
I just have two.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, don't, I know we're running on time. Quickly, going back to the AI thing, I do think if we can, as a district, maybe try to prioritize getting some type of curriculum going around AI, because it's only going to get worse. And there's so much teaching of how to effectively use AI, because we're rolling it out in my law firm. And even then, to use it effectively, you have to know how to use it. It's not just, it's not Siri. And so I think because it is the wave of the future, we do need to be really mindful of teaching smart use versus no use to our students as early as we can. And then, oh yes, another thank you for all of you doing so much behind the scenes work that is so impactful for all of our students. Obviously, the connections have been made there. That's why they're getting recognized by students in some fashion. My comment, I think, is the timing of this workshop, because this is so fantastic, but we've already missed the appreciation month or, time for you guys. And so now it almost feels unfair, because now I hear all this great work and I'm like, oh, I wish it was MNO Appreciation Week next week, because this needs to be more broadcast. And we've had that. I mean, not that we can't use any day of the week to celebrate you all, but I don't know if there's a better way to time this workshop, because it is such great, valuable information to line up more with that. So it feels.
We have
Yeah.
we have a district-wide June 3rd celebration of our entire staff coming up. So it's not super bad timing since we have that coming up. We take one of our Monday mornings at the end of the year, and we do an entire district-wide staff celebration that happens at the buildings. So that's great for our nutrition services team at the building and our custodians at the team. And then we make sure that each of these departments get funds to celebrate with their staff too. Yeah, so that's a good thing.
All right. Well, thank you everyone
Yes.
for what you said and being here, and all your staffs and what they do. So, and we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Julie, you're trying to make us put another